To our David Spunt, who's at the courthouse. David, do you have an update for us?
Yeah, we are getting a little bit more information, Jim. So as you were just saying on set, we are hearing now 3 to 10 years. What that exactly means and the exact time he's going to spend, we're waiting to hear that. But we know it's between 3 and 10 years in a state correctional institute. Something else I can tell you, according to people in the courtroom, Cosby's legal defense team stood up immediately asking for some kind of bail for Bill Cosby. The Judge O'Neill shut that down immediately, said he would not grant that, said that would not happen. And basically, Mr. Cosby is going into custody today. So Bill Cosby's legal team, and I do want to point out, by my count, I was just thinking about it a moment ago, this is his 4th legal team since he was arrested back in December 30th of 2015. He's gone through 4 different legal teams. This is his 4th team. They are inside right now asking for some kind of bail. We're assuming they will appeal. They said that before this would happen today, so we're waiting to hear about that. But the Judge Stephen O'Neill, said, hey, listen, there's not going to be any bail at all, and Bill Cosby will go behind bars and will be taken to a state facility for at least 3 years, maximum 10 years. Jim, Natasha.
David, I don't know if you know this, but do you know, is his wife with him in the courtroom? Is Camille in there?
No, she is not. And it's interesting you mentioned Camille Cosby, because just a couple of weeks ago, while she's not here today, she actually went to Harrisburg to file a motion against Judge Stephen O'Neill. She really thinks that Judge Stephen O'Neill has been unfair against her husband and has been particularly vindictive. She was trying to get Judge O'Neill off of this case. When Cosby was convicted back in April, at the end of April, he actually had an outburst in court and shouted at Judge O'Neill. So it's almost become something personal between Judge Stephen O'Neill here in Montgomery County and Bill Cosby. Camille Cosby just a few weeks ago was trying to get him taken off the case, citing some sort of bias or conflict of interest. Guess what? That did not happen. Judge O'Neill said he is staying put. He stayed put. He rendered his sentence today of 3 to 10 years. And when Cosby's defense team, his 4th defense team, asked for some kind of bail, the judge said that's just not going to happen. Jim.
And David, also, we know that you've kind of set the stage for us as to what's been happening outside of the courtroom today. Can you tell us now that the word has kind of trickled out there to some of the folks that have gathered there? What's been the reaction?
You know, I was expecting a larger reaction based on what happened in April, maybe because the weather was nicer, there were more people out here. There's probably about 10 people at the bottom of the courthouse. You can't even see them where we are right now. But there's about 10 people, and have some signs. You can see them right now on another shot. There's some signs, and they were playing some music earlier outside, but clearly not the crowd that we saw before. Possibly because it's been raining pretty much all morning, and it's starting to pick up again, so that certainly could have an influence. But we are expecting to see a lot more people that were in the courtroom come outside. After all, Bill Cosby had maybe a handful of supporters sitting on his side of the courtroom, and some of those accusers, many accusers who say that Cosby sexually assaulted them, they weren't even heard in a court of law. They were just there to show support for Andrea Constand, and she's really the person that this case is all about. So while there were probably dozens of people against Bill Cosby, hoping that Bill Cosby would get jail time, Bill Cosby only had a handful of supporters. So we'll probably see some of those people that are on Andrea Constand and the prosecution side trickle out at some point soon.
All right, David. Well, what we will not see, and what has become very clear to us now in light of what you said the judge has done in terms of the defense asking for some kind of bail or something like that to let Bill Cosby go home and maybe come back to prison, we're probably not going to see him walk out of that courtroom today, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Pretty much what we saw earlier today with Bill Cosby walking in with his legal team, as we've seen really for the last 3 years, almost 3 years, as there's been motion after motion, and there was a mistrial a year and a half ago. In this other trial, we always see him getting out. There's members of the public that are standing here on the sidewalks that yell, that shout his name. Some people are in favor of him. Some people are totally against him. We're not going to see him leaving the courtroom today the way that he has before, with his handlers, with his media team, just getting into that SUV. He's going to be getting into an SUV, but he'll probably be handcuffed and taken to a local prison here in Montgomery County. So it will be a different scene, and we're waiting to see how that plays out whenever he's really released from the courtroom.
Do we have any idea what's going on in the courtroom right now, David? I mean, I'm assuming his attorneys are speaking on his behalf, but any specifics that you can tell us?
You know, specifically, I don't know. We just know the attorney asked for that motion. I'm assuming there's definitely stuff going on. That's why we haven't seen that throng of 15, 20, maybe 30 people running down those courthouse steps like we normally would see. Because after all, when they're sentencing, sometimes these sentences are not cut and dry. It's not just, hey, Mr. William Cosby, you're going to go to jail for 4 years and 5 months. Often it's very confusing. It can be a little convoluted. We're hearing 3 to 10 years. We're waiting to find out more what that means. Maybe we're getting that information from Joe Holden inside to tell us exactly how long he's going to be behind years, because that is kind of a nebulous figure between 3 and 10 years. So there's a lot of stipulations when a judge is sentencing. Sometimes there's time served because Cosby has been on house arrest and under monitor since his April conviction. So sometimes they're going to take that into account. There also could be some stuff that's served concurrently. So after all, we need to wait till we hear the final sentence, though we do know for a fact it's going to be between 3 and 10 years.
And also, David, not sure if you're getting this information either. Just
okay.
We see some
Here
activity here coming out of
come.
court.
Okay. The journalists.
It looks like they've adjourned. And
yeah, we're
many
hearing
other,
that.
And here's Joe Holden. We see our Joe Holden there walking out of court. Hoping to get the very latest from him as well. And again, we were talking earlier just about the fact that we've really seen no reaction or very little reaction from Bill Cosby throughout these proceedings, whether it was the trial 5 months ago when he was found guilty or this last 2 days or so during the sentencing hearing. No real emotion from him. Just wondering what if that's changed today.
Well, you know, we're told that that has not changed today. As far as Bill Cosby walking in, he seemed to be the same self that he's been for the last almost handful of times that he's been walking into courtroom. His spokesman said that his spirits are up. Several people outside kind of questioned what that meant, knowing that he could be facing this amount of time behind bars. But we do know that court's letting out. We're going to start to see people walking down soon. And Joe Holden's going to be getting on camera in just a few minutes. And I'm going to be interested to see exactly what he has to say, you know, give us a little bit of color commentary in the courtroom about Cosby's attorney. Maybe Cosby said something because, after all, back in April, he had a major outburst and yelled at Judge Stephen O'Neill and made this something that was personal. So we'll see if that happens when Joe comes out in just a moment here to the camera.